Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Davis, and you are watching Conversations in Pop Culture. And yes, I am scandalous like an Ashley. And I do want to remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by my friends over at PocketJackComics.com and PocketJack Comics in general. And they right now have two books coming into comic shops, Guinevere and the Divinity Factory and Palace of the Golden Princess, with some awesome variants that are coming. And you can actually try them before you buy them at PocketJackComics.com. By signing up for my friend Preston's email list, you can get a free PDF copy of both issues. But enough about that, because I have with me Church of Greatness member, professional wrestler Lucas Chase. So welcome to the show.
Boom. Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here. And I'm glad we were finally able to do this. This was a reschedule due to some unforeseen circumstances, but here we are. It's been a very long, busy weekend in the ring for me, so I'm happy to talk some wrestling and actually be sitting down.
No, I'm happy, and life happens, and I just want to make it crystal clear that I get it. Life happens. It could be me on the other side at some point, and so I get it completely. And I just say, cool. You know what is life happens, and no worries. And it's whatever. And I wound up watching anime that night, so it was all right. So
there you go. I love the Ghastly Gengar Haunter shirt you got going on.
Yeah. I mean, I got it on sale. It was like $10, guys.
Oh, that's $10. That's $10 very well spent, because that's a dope shirt.
It was $10, and then somebody gifted it to me and paid me the $10, so it was even better. So anyway, not the point.
Got a free shirt.
Oh, it's great. It's great. But enough about that, because I do want to talk wrestling, and I do want to talk a lot about Wrestling Open with you. But yeah, I do want to touch upon some other stuff before, because I think a lot of people right now know you from Wrestling Open, but I don't think that they know that you wrestled for Blood, Sweat, and Tears Wrestling, and you've had a bunch of other things. And just some of those matches, obviously you had some serious matches with Dustin Waller in an Iron Man match. I think you were a very young championship title holder there as well.
Yeah, I was when Blood, Sweat, and Tears came around, BST Wrestling as they're known now. They're actually on IWTV as of the top of this year. Joining the Wrestling Open family, Beyond Wrestling family over there at IWTV, and all those other great promotions that broadcast there. But yeah, BST was something that came about and was very, very welcoming experience for me. That's actually where Dustin Waller and myself first got into a locker room together, and like two ships that just collide in the night. Dustin Waller and I's careers have intertwined and tangled all the way through. No matter where we've gone, we've always ended up opposite sides of the ring from each other, except Wrestling Open. Ironically, we have not done anything or had any type of physicality or match at Wrestling Open. And hopefully one day soon that will change.
Yeah, so let's actually talk about that, because I think the two of you had an Iron Man match.
Yes, we did.
You two didn't deal with each other for a while, and then you had a ladder match for the rematch like 18 months later.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things happened at that time. COVID happened, so a lot of stuff shut down, and things of that nature. But like I said, like two ships colliding, right? It always seems that like when Dustin Waller and I are on opposite sides of the spectrum in the wrestling universe, something happens where we come and we realign together. And as fate would have it, BST gave us two very, very important matches in our careers, with that 60-minute Iron Man match in Bridgeport, and then we followed that up with the title rematch, and I finally got my rematch after his title reign in August of 2022. And that is when I, beat him for the belt and became a two-time BST champion. And we have not touched since. So it's been an interesting time.
Let's actually talk about that, because I think that big matches define people. And I think especially when you have stipulations attached to championship matches, they define people. And obviously, being that you are still relatively new, Dustin is still relatively new, these two matches between the two of you, obviously you said it really well, where they were massive, pivotal, and milestone matches to some degree for the both of you. And they got attention on you. They're also, I guess, portfolio type matches where If not saying that, you need somebody to vouch for you, but these are the matches that vouch for what you can do in a ring. And
Absolutely.
so what is that like? Because not everybody gets that so early on in their career.
Well, first and foremost, it was a matter of circumstance, I believe. The Iron Man match was needed because when I originally beat Dustin in the inaugural BST show to become the inaugural BST heavyweight champion, he didn't tap out. He passed out. I didn't pin him to the mat. He passed out. So there was always that kind of illusion of time. What would have happened if time and his body didn't give up on him, and it led us to that story of time in the ladder match, and who can go 60 minutes, and being able to have an experience like that at a young point in both of our careers is extremely pivotal because it taught us so many things, not only about certain aspects of professional wrestling that you're only going to get in that type of environment, but it taught us something about ourselves as wrestlers, as performers, and as athletes. To get in between those roles for 10 to 15 minutes and 8 minutes or 5 minutes, like you see sometimes at Wrestling Open, can be extremely taxing, extremely grueling on our bodies as performers and athletes. So to go 60 minutes, you really learn a lot about yourself and what you could put your body through to come out the other side and put together something that the fans not only are going to remember, but they're going to enjoy throughout. And, they are bench stone matches for us. And, moving to the ladder match, it's the same result, but it's a different beast because that ladder match was extremely brutal. It was extremely physical. I put Dustin Waller through a door. He gave me, he caught me with a Canadian destroyer off the top of the ladder. He put me through a door with a splash off the top of the ladder. There was a lot of chaos in there. The rest of the Miracle Generation, Kylon King, the Haven, my faction, the Armada of fellow Dustin Rhodes trained students, Chad Lennox and Slim Seven, we all collided there. It was a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that showed us what we could actually do if the cards are dealt, and you got to really dig down deep. Not only who's going to have your back and who's going to be there for you, but what can you do to survive? And that ladder match gave us all of that in spades.
Yeah, let's actually talk about that because again, not everybody also gets to do a ladder match on the indies and even in the mainstream, I guess. Not every wrestler gets to do a ladder match. Ladder matches are amazing. I mean, what is it? The Edge and Christian? No, it was the
Edge,
Hardys who did the
Hardy,
ladders.
Christian, and the Dudley Boys, they innovated the ladder match. I look back a little bit further to WrestleMania 10 and SummerSlam 95, with Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels, and those two ladder matches that were so amazing. You look at SummerSlam 1998, you have Triple H and The Rock for the Intercontinental Championship in Madison Square Garden, one of the greatest ladder matches of all time, in my opinion. And not a lot of people do get the opportunity to do a ladder match, even on the grandest stage, or to the independent scene. And Blood, Sweat, and Tears really put the ball in our court, and Blood, Sweat, and Tears really allowed us to thrive and to create as performers in that opportunity. And they trusted us, and they said, this is your ball, this is your main event, this is for all the marbles, and we're gonna hang that belt 15 feet above the ring, and the rest is going to be up to you. And I think, for what it's worth, that's one of my top 5 favorite matches of my career. Personally, I don't know how Dustin feels about it since he was on the losing end of it. But if anybody watches that ladder match, I think if you're a fan of professional wrestling, if you're not a fan of professional wrestling, if you watch that ladder match between Dustin Waller and myself for the BST Heavyweight Championship, you're going to see one of the best ladder matches you've ever seen in your life, and you're definitely going to see one of the greatest ladder matches in independent wrestling.
So obviously, I love ladder matches. I love steel cage matches. I'm not a fan of table matches. I kind of find them to be a little bit of a cop out, where you put your enemy or your opponent through a table. Like that's not really big to me. Like I don't feel like there's big spots in a tables match anymore.
You know, Dave Grohl once said, it's a quote that I will always remember. Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters, he said, "Every song's already been written. It's up to you to write the one that hasn't." And I think in today's day and age, we see so much and so many matches take place, and a lot of things are the same, a lot of things are different if you go match by match. But a tables match is an animal, of a different color,
Maybe I'm a little biased because now that on the indies everybody's using a door, and then you have like a hardcore fight, and then everybody's going through doors, and you're putting your opponent through a door. Like I feel like it's
that's
just been.
because a lot of independent wrestling promotions don't have a budget for tables, so you got
No, I'm fine with the door. I'm fine with the door. It's just like every single GCW show, like there's literally 20 doors that get broken, and I'm just like, but you throw a ladder and somebody's doing something off of a ladder, I'm like, oh my god, you just hit your finisher off of a 15-foot ladder. Like that's a spot for me.
100%. And you know what? I think if the right people are given the right tools, they could probably do the same thing and have you have that same reaction with the tables match. But it's got to be the right people. It's got to be the right moment. These things, when they click, and it could turn someone who's not a fan of that match type into being like, damn, that was a damn good tables match.
I mean, I'll say this: the last good thing that involved the door that I saw that I thought was brilliant was the invisible two brothers fighting at GCW. I don't know if you've seen this match.
Yes.
That was brilliant with the doors breaking and everything. Oh my god! Like I would
that's that creativity, and the right people were in there for that.
I mean, that was all Bryce. That was all Bryce just pulling it off as the ref, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant. But I digress. Getting back to BTS, what was that like that they trusted you and Dustin in this main event? Because again, I go back to this: is you both were really new. You're now in the main event. You're now representing this company, and you're putting this company like front and center, and it takes a lot of trust. I mean, obviously wrestling collectively takes trust, but putting two people in there to say, hey, this main event is yours, and we trust both of you that you're going to put on a great show and a great main event that's going to be caliber to our company.
Yeah, BST management and the guys at BST, Harry Davila, Kevin Santabria, Manny Sierra, and that whole staff, they really did trust us, and they gave us that opportunity. And I think that they knew we were going to be able to pull it off because of who we are and how hungry we are as performers. And not a lot of people know this, and I've never said this out publicly, but everyone knows that I'm trained by Dustin Rhodes. Everyone knows that I came from Texas up to the Northeast training with Dustin Rhodes, and here I am now. Everyone knows, Dustin Waller was trained by Paul Roma and Mario Mancini up in East Haven and Connecticut. And not a lot of people know that very early on in our careers, Flash and I trained together. Very early on in our careers, Dustin Waller and I were very, very good friends. We were looking out for each other, and we were in the same locker rooms at the same time for the first time. And, we'd ride in the car together, and we'd put those miles in. And, for a certain amount of time, I saw him as a little brother type. And I'm sure he saw me and would say that he saw me as a big brother type. And so when we got the nod from BST management, they said, we want to do this ladder match, and it's final stop on the road for you guys against each other. We looked at each other and we said, we're going to put on the best goddamn performance that we can, and we're going to do what we need to do to make this match as awesome as possible. And we trusted each other with our bodies. We trusted each other to get the job done. And I would bet it against any other ladder match ever.
No. I mean, I've seen it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. And I love a ladder match. I'll be honest. My favorite ladder match is We LC with Hornswoggle.
Hornswoggle.
I thought that thing was just so ridiculous. That thing just made me smile so much. But that was a weird one. But this was a great ladder match nonetheless, and I really enjoyed that. And there's been a few that have been really good as well. But I want to back out of this because obviously this I felt was a pivotal moment. And the reason why I want to talk about this is that because you're killing it in wrestling open, but you also had some stuff in AEW, which is cool. Yep. And not everybody gets that either. and I think you were facing Powerhouse Hobbs. I think you were also with facing Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, and then Sean Dean, and even just being in front of that many people, because AEW has a large audience in attendance, but the audience is outside of that, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Saturday night, whether it's on Thursday night, whatever it is, your potential is anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million plus people watching.
Yeah, no, the opportunity came, and for the first opportunity came when I was in Austin, Texas, and it was right after they left Daily Space for the first time. I was able to perform on the first show on the road for AEW after the pandemic. And that was at the HEB Center in Austin, Texas. That was me and Powerhouse Hobbs for the first time. That was me, and Powerhouse Hobbs kicking off what I think is going to be something that, if you guys stay tuned, and follow me on the social medias and stay tuned and pay attention to what I'm doing, it might not be the last time you see me and Powerhouse Hobbs together. But every opportunity that I received at AEW was a building block and a stepping stone to a higher opportunity in my immediate career. It opened a lot of doors for me. It got a lot of eyes on me. It allowed me to be on that bigger stage and show that the nerves don't rattle Lucas Chase. The nerves and the people and the bright lights, they don't rattle Lucas Chase. Lucas Chase is up for that challenge.
So let's actually talk about this, because obviously I interviewed Charlie Kroll, and I forget her new name, but I love her. She's great. And then I've had Akira on, I've had Masha Slamovich on, and so all these people I think have been on AEW and been in what I call prime time positions. And I think it is a real skill, because I don't know if every wrestler is ready to be in front of 100,000 people. I don't know if every wrestler is. I'm not a wrestler, but I don't know what goes through somebody's head. But there's a big difference wrestling in front of 500 people or 100 people to being in front of 1,000 to being in front of 2,000, being in front of
major difference.
And then also having Twitter in the backdrop later on, because there's just different levels.
I'll tell you what, it's funny you mentioned Twitter, not to cut you off, but
please do.
I've had the most Twitter integration and Twitter contact with people through Wrestling Open than I have on any Dark appearance. And I've been on Dark 8 times. So it's pretty neat to see that Wrestling Open.
See, this is interesting, right? So I used to live in DC, and my favorite thing was Impact on Twitch.
Oh, Impact on Twitch was awesome.
Because this is what would happen. I would come home from my job in DC, so Washington, DC, and then I would order a pizza, and then I would just start drinking and playing Overwatch, starting at like 6:30 to like 9:50. I mean, this is what, like 3-4 years ago. So I'm playing, and I'm horrible at Overwatch, but I'm just drinking. I'm having a good time. I stop off at the liquor store down near my apartment. I get everything. I'm thrilled. And then 9:50, I turn on Impact, and I just start tweeting at all these wrestlers, and they respond back. Yep. And it's like I had Karrion Kross like responding back to me. I had Scarlett responding back. I had Jordan Grace responding back to me. Like I had like the Rascals responding back to me. I had Bobby Lashley never responded back to me. That's all right. He gets a pass. But
that dude might need a pass.
But I'm a little scared of Bobby Lashley. That's not the point here. But what it was is that even you and I watch Wrestling Open, but I just don't tweet about it. Because I just want to veg out. I get home from work on Thursday and I'm done for the week. Right. And I don't have the capabilities to just start typing on Twitter. I used to. But my point is that I love interaction. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think is so interesting. So what is that like? Because I think people forget that there is a huge wrestling community on Twitter and other things.
It's absolutely gigantic, the wrestling community on Twitter. And the really cool thing about wrestling community on Twitter is that, with Wrestling Open, Beyond and Wrestling Open are tweeting just as much as everybody else is and utilizing that hashtag. So when you come out of the ring at Wrestling Open, a lot of the guys and girls, not me because I'm not a mark, but they run to their phones and they look at the Twitter feed, and we are able to receive immediate feedback. We are able to see immediately whether or not what we did out there mattered, whether what we did out there landed, and whether what we did out there was hitting the notes that we want to hit. Because Wrestling Open, it's TV, baby. It's TV. That's what Wrestling Open is. I'll hold Wrestling Open up against a SmackDown, up against a TNA, up against an AEW Dynamite, up against a Monday Night Raw any day of the week. We are telling very intricate, very good stories in the ring, and we have a cream of the crop of talent that comes through there that you won't see anywhere else but in the Northeast. And Twitter is a huge part of that. The Twitter fan base for Wrestling Open is so big and it's so wide stretched that we sell out that White Eagle in Worcester, Massachusetts every single week. Why? Because everybody's talking about Wrestling Open as a whole. They're talking about their favorite competitors in Wrestling Open.
Let's actually talk about this, because you've done a bunch of stuff in Wrestling Open, but I'm curious because I view Wrestling Open a little bit differently than other people view it, where I'm like, I don't know if it's just that for the longest time, no offense to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and parts of AEW, like it hasn't been good. I mean, there's been a problem in wrestling where WWE and I feel AEW and wrestling has finally pivoted for the first time probably in about 18 months.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against those guys not working hard or anything like that. It's just that I think there was a drought of good story, a drought to care. And Wrestling Open, when it first came out after Uncharted Territory, it took about 5 to 6 weeks for them to really figure out what they were doing and get some momentum. But I felt like there was an actual caring in what they were trying to do.
Oh, 1,000%. That locker room and everyone at Wrestling Open 100% cares about what that product is putting out. 100%.
You know what I mean by this, right?
Yeah,
Because if you
100%. It's carefully crafted. Yes, 100%. It is carefully crafted.
Oh no, I don't know what happens. This is not good. I don't know if I just lost him. It's not good. I don't know where he went. I don't know where he is. This is so weird. I don't know what just happened. Oh boy. I don't know what just happened. I'm a little scared. This is not good. So in other news, hopefully he'll be back in a sec. Unless they don't want us talking about Wrestling Open, which is fine. That's 100% cool with me. I don't know what's going on. Give him a minute. I will give him a minute. Hopefully he'll be back. Hopefully everything will be okay. Hopefully nothing too serious happens. And I'm hoping for the best. And I don't know, maybe his internet died, maybe his phone died. I don't know. But I'm working on getting him back, everybody. So if you're in the comment section, you can comment. I'll answer questions. I just don't know where he went. It's so weird. It's so weird. So weird. This is so weird. I don't know where he went, but we're all good. This is so weird. Technical difficulties. Don't know where we are, but I'm just waiting peacefully and patiently. And I know 3 people watching me, which is really cool. Appreciate everybody watching me. Again, feel free to comment. I'll answer questions while I wait. I don't know where my guest is. Something must have happened. Maybe a phone happened, internet dropped. Things happen in life. Emergencies happen. So I am just giving him the benefit of the doubt. See if he comes back, and we'll work from there. But yeah, so obviously I have Lucas Chase on, so I don't really know what's going on. But hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully there's not a crisis. Hopefully everything's fine. And yeah, no. I just want to talk about wrestling, and it's great. Um, and again, I'm gonna give him a few minutes. Hopefully he'll come back, and we'll all be good. And yeah, we'll just continue talking about Wrestling Open and everything in between. So that's where I'm at. So hopefully for the best. But I figured, obviously things happen, phones die, computers die, internet dies, electricity gets taken out. So um I am just waiting for the best here, and hopefully this will all work out, and I got a feeling it will. So that's how I feel. But yeah, so um that's where I'm at. And yeah, so I don't know what's up with everybody, but yeah. So hopefully this is all gonna work out, and we're gonna be in a good place. So I just don't know where we're at. So if not, we'll figure it all out. But we give him a few more minutes. I get that things happen. And hopefully we'll continue to talk about Wrestling Open. But yeah, so if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer anything right now. I just don't know where my guest is. And so that's where we're at. But anything can happen live. It's controlled chaos. Controlled chaos. So yes. So that's where we're at, and I'm hoping for the best, and that's life. So that's where we're at, and hopefully nothing too serious happened. And I'm sure that it's not a big deal. So we're just waiting peacefully and patiently, and hoping for the best, and everything will be worked out. That's what I figured out in my life. Everything will be worked out. In the meanwhile, though, if anybody's curious, I do sell a lot of comics. I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. Apparently, I'm a big Swiftie. In case anybody didn't know that, you're learning a lot about me today, everybody. So yes. So yes, and I've done all right with some Taylor Swift books that are out there, and some other stuff that's out there. And yes, so that's what's in my eBay store. It's in the description down below. You can go check some of that stuff out. I got a bunch of other cool comic books. I don't carry as much wrestling stuff, but I do have some wrestling cards. And obviously, I'm a card collector, so that's something that I'm really into as well. So if you're coming in to see this interview with wrestling, that is absolutely appreciative. And I know people collect cards, and I'm a big card collector. So excuse me. So yes. But yes. So that's kind of everything that I got going on. I have Bo Bombshell coming on later this week. For those who are interested in who that is, it's going to be a very, very, very fun interview. I'm very excited about. I also have Savannah Fox coming on, which is a different type of wrestling, and she does some session wrestling. So I got that, and a lot of other interesting people are coming on. And so that's everything that I got going on. And yeah, so um I don't know what's going on with my guest. Hopefully nothing it's nothing too serious. I get that life happens, and things are interesting, and hopefully, as I stated before, nothing too serious happened, and that maybe it's just like a power outage or something. Um so Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping for. It is and if it is something serious, obviously I don't wish any harm upon anybody, and I hope it's addressed. I hope it's okay. I hope things get better. And yeah, so I'm probably gonna give about 5 minutes before obviously I log off, and hopefully we could figure out a rescheduling or something along those lines with this one. Obviously life happens, and there's only so much I can do as a person in those circumstances. And I know I appreciate a bunch of people sticking with us and technical difficulties. Obviously, technology is our friend, but it's also, sometimes doesn't work out the best way we would like it to, which is fine because that's just the way it is. But yeah, no, I'm gonna give him about 2 more minutes or so, Lucas, and obviously, we were having a good interview, getting onto Wrestling Open, some other stuff happened, and yeah, I don't really know what happened. So, but yeah, so we'll figure that out, and we'll hope for the best. So, obviously, hopefully, he'll be able to get back on in a few minutes, and we'll work from there, and we'll just have continue a really good interview here. And obviously, that's that. So, um, I'm not too sure what's going on, and but I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt because that's just what we do here. But yeah, so again, if you got any questions for me, you want to talk wrestling, you want to talk anything about that, comment section's open. I'm more than happy to answer any questions and those natures or that nature. And yeah, so hopefully we'll figure this out, and we'll continue the interview. And again, I don't know what happened. He just ducked out, and that's that. So I don't know. But I'm just sitting tight. You got to give people the benefit of the doubt. Things happen, life happens, situations happen. It could happen to anybody during an interview. Your power goes out, your phone dies, your laptop gives way, other problems occur. You got a family emergency that you got to address and deal with. Anything could happen. So that's something that should be kept in the back of everybody's head, and that nature. So, uh, yeah, but I appreciate everybody sticking with me, everybody joining, everybody, you know, powering through. But I think in a minute we're probably gonna wrap up if I don't anything back because I think it's been about almost 10 minutes or so. So, obviously, if 10 minutes hasn't occurred or it's passed, we'll give like a minute or two more. And then, I appreciate everybody sticking with. And again, life happens. It's unfortunate. And, but I'm sure it'll all work out. It'll all work out. I'm not really all that concerned. And just seeing if anything's in my messages or something coming up or something along those lines. I don't think it's me. Um, but again, life happens, and we figure it out, piece by piece by piece. And that's kind of where I'm at with this whole thing, and hoping for the best. So yeah, I think another minute or two, and then we'll wrap up. And I appreciate everybody sticking with. The two people who are watching. Obviously, the people who are going to see this on the back end. I really appreciate you sticking with me. And yeah, just dealing with technical difficulties. Unfortunately, we live in a society where, and we're very dependent on technology, and technology is great, and sometimes it fails, but there's always another interview to do. There's always another opportunity to do, and obviously, again, I'm going to take the presumption, and I'm going to assume that there was an emergency or something came up, or a power outage, or a natural disaster occurred, and there you go. So that's what I'm presuming, and that's what I expect my audience to presume. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. And again, we're just sitting tight. I think 10 minutes is reasonable. So it's a position where we can just sit tight, and we go for the best, and things can work out. And otherwise, I appreciate everybody checking it out, sticking with us. Again, I got a lot of stuff going on. um but yeah, so yeah, no. I don't really know what happened. But again, we live in a society where technology can be difficult. People's phones die, as I stated, and some other stuff happens. So, uh, but yeah, no, it's all good. Um, one thing at a time, and hope for the best. Seeing if anything appeared in my DMs, anything appeared in anything else that I got going on. And yeah, so looks like I don't have much things to go off of. Appreciate everybody. And yeah, no. I did definitely appreciate everybody just sticking with us, and hopefully we're gonna figure this out. And yeah, so really appreciate it, everybody. Thank you. I think I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna just see if there's anything in my email that gives me an inclination of something or anything like that. But yeah, so much appreciated to everybody sticking with us. Again, things happen, and it's all right. It's all right. It's not the end of the world. Nothing wrong happened. And it's just a freak thing, you know what I mean? And just so cool. So again, for those who are watching this live, um, my name is Andrew Davis. Obviously, I run this show. I have a Twitter account called Pop Anime Comics. I'm on Facebook under Pop Anime Comics. I'm under Instagram under Pop Anime Comics. I have a TikTok, Pop Anime Comics. I have a YouTube channel, Pop Anime Comics, and I do a lot of interviews and some other stuff. And seeing who's hitting me up on Skype. Nobody's hitting me up on Skype. That's important. But yeah, so that's everything. Anything that's Pop Anime Comics is typically mine, and I do a lot of content, do a lot of voice actors, do a lot of other stuff. So yeah, so that's everything that I got. And yeah, I'm gonna call it quits. I think that obviously something happened. I'm sure that we'll probably, hopefully, we can reschedule for a third time in a better way. And I'm probably gonna shoot a message, say, hey, I don't know if you were coming back. Obviously, I could probably wait another minute. But hopefully everything's okay. That's what I hope for at the very least. Um, I hope if it was an emergency, something came up, power went out. I hope everything's okay. I hope everything is all right. Obviously, and yeah. So it happens. People got a lot of stuff going on, and yeah. So I'm actually shooting a message right now. And yeah, so appreciate everybody sticking with us. Obviously, everybody on Twitter, everybody on Facebook, everybody on YouTube. Really appreciate everybody, hanging out and hopefully, we can figure out this interview for a later date because things happen and it's perfectly fine. But yeah, so I'm just shooting him a message right now. Um, yeah, so bear with me, see if I can get to the bottom of this. And yeah, so you know, and that's life, right? It's live. It's gonna happen, and you hope for the best. And again, if something happened, obviously, um, we hope the situation is okay and everything of that. And yep. So again, my social media is Pop Anime Comics on Twitter/X, Pop Anime Comics on Facebook, Pop Anime Comics on Instagram, Pop Anime Comics on TikTok. YouTube is Pop Anime Comics, but I didn't mention it. I am Pop Anime Comics Collectibles on eBay, and that's everything that I think I'm at. And again, I can't appreciate everybody and tell you how much I appreciate all of you for just sticking around, hanging out, watching the show, and hopefully, I think 13 minutes in, I think, obviously, um, something's up, and yeah, so definitely, life happens, and it's unfortunately we're rooting that everything's okay with Lucas. Is all. And maybe it's just a simple power outage, and there you go. So that's it that I got going on, and I'm gonna peace out, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and all that fun stuff. And hopefully I'll catch you. I'll see you Tuesday. Hopefully I'll see you Wednesday. And yeah, I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate all my fans and everything in between. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good one, everybody.